So you spoke about, some of the older people in the community and their feelings towards their warmth towards Judaism, their soul just coming out because they couldn't. But it sounds like it's even the youth in your community. I know you work a lot with the camps, and you've also started a special camp for special needs children. Tell us a little about the reactions of the children there and why you feel that they're so connected more than, let's say, the average teenage kid would be in America.
Camp. So when we got here, naturally speaking, because camp was the reason that we moved here, that's one of the projects we started right away. Our overnight camp it started small. Thank God, in recent years we've moved kind of to the mountain 7 hours away, and it's grown.
Oh, wow.
Now we have about close to 500 kids in our different 450 kids, 500 kids in our different camp sessions. Recently, we started a new camp which is for special needs children.
How often is the camps? When is the camps in this?
So we do this is the summer camp is our main camp, but actually right now next week we're having like a winter retreat. It's kind of like a winter camp, a Shabbaton that we're doing just an extra hours for 100 kids. So we're always engaging with them. And I have an interesting story to share about that. But basically, so camps are a means for the kids because many children live in towns and villages with little or no infrastructure. So you could have kids that live in a city that have no rabbi, no synagogue, no community, smaller towns and villages. So we gather them. We have, cars, buses that go, finds them, brings them to us. Then we have our own kids. They come to camp. And in camp, what do we give this past year? The camp title. What was the theme of camp was Am Yisrael Chai. That's it. The Jewish people are alive, and everything about camp was singing that, flags of that, trips of that, giving them Jewish pride. Jews today, all they need to be proud of who they are. Here, thank God, they are proud. You just need to light the match, and it just burns. So we had an exceptional summer this year because in our camp, for the very first time, we had one of our alumni who wanted to get married in camp. We had a real chuppah in camp. She's a girl that grew up in our camp. After she finished our camp, what I pride myself in, that 80% of our staff are kids that finished camp. They came back as staff. So she came back as staff. And then she met a young Jewish boy a few months before camp. And then she came to me and she's like, I'd like to get married in camp. And I told her, let's do it. And now it's a lot of details. How do you make a wedding reception in the mountains in a place that has nothing? We got a tent. We set it up. We built a chuppah. And we had the first ever. And I said, this is the best experience you can give children. Instead of just teaching them theory, we're showing them, assimilation rates in Russia are terribly high, over 90%. Which means out of 100 families, 90 families are intermarried. The best experience you can give a kid, the best example is leading by example. So something we did a chuppah, and they were involved. They decorated. They got dressed. So they had a chuppah. What else was interesting is in our camps, we had a bat mitzvah for 13 girls, if I'm not mistaken, this year. We had a bar mitzvahs, and we had a bris. The mohel came. Some kids wanted to do a counselor, wanted to do a bris, and a child, we did a bris. So we had all the life cycles and girls choosing Jewish names in our camp. So it's something that really gives them tremendous pride and Jewish identity. Aside from
they live through it. They're not just learning about it.
Exactly. And once they go through something like this, they remember for life. We're Jewish. We're proud. And they come back year after year. But what we started recently was our special needs camp. That was something that we found that when during Corona, we realized that I was surprised. I never saw like Down syndrome kids in the street. I never saw, kids in wheelchairs. And I always wondered, in the States or Canada. So here, it wasn't so socially accepted to be parading around the city with your special child. So during COVID, I came across many kids. We were coming home visiting people, and we saw, here's a family that had someone here. And I invited them to our camp, and they all refused. They said, we can't go. And I couldn't understand why. And then they said, it's not going to be comfortable for us to be in a regular camp. We're going to get, people are going to look at us. We're not going to be. So I said, how about I make you a separate session for a few days? They said, for that, we'll come. And we did our first kind of a test run. It's a few years ago, 4 years ago. And they came and they loved it. And the next year we did for a week. And now we're doing a 10-day already camp that they're coming from all over Russia. Kids from Siberia, mothers are calling us because there's never had, in the States, you have 10 special needs camps for children, for Jewish children. Here there's nothing. They came and this one lady calls from Siberia and she says, we heard you have a camp for special children.
How far is Siberia?
So Siberia is 4,000 kilometers or miles actually, so it's very far. So when I told her, we would love to have you, she said okay. And then the next day she called and she said, well, actually it turns out that the flights, we need to take 2 flights, it's more than my monthly salary, I can't do it, but thank you for offering, it means the world. I was about to hang up and my wife heard it and she's like, what do you mean? Let's offer to pay the ticket. And I said okay. So I said, would it help if we paid the ticket? She said, are you serious? I said yes. We got them tickets, they traveled, and it changed their life. They just came and they for the first time felt they're in a safe environment, an environment that cares for them, people that could relate to the challenges that they deal with. And it's grown since then. Now it's opening centers in different cities where we teach. We have our centers open every day, and it's beyond just social help. It's actually giving them therapies, doctors, psychologists, because they're underserved. They need to get, the attention they need. So today
Mm.
a big focus is on that. And I feel like, I feel in life, there are different situations we come across, and it's kind of God sending us a message. You see someone else's plight, someone else's challenge, and you're wondering, I could just ignore it and move on. It's not my deal to deal with this, or I could do something about it. And I felt that's what happened with the special needs, where I once I
Mm.
saw these kids, we could have just said that, oh, we feel bad, let's help them, give them some food and move on. But I just felt like Hashem was giving us a little bit of an indicator, like there is a need. Are you willing to step up? And we said, let's do it. And it just given so many blessings to so many people, and to us, just seeing the feedback and their gratitude. And I had one more story like this, actually, that's in the middle of being played out now. One of the ladies I visited her at home to bring medicine exactly a day before I went to the Knesset. So it was a week ago, exactly a week ago. And while I was there, I mentioned we're having a big Hanukkah concert. This year we're making a musical. Me and my wife, she wrote a whole kind of like a Broadway, actually. We wanted to do something that would be meaningful. So we wrote out a whole play. We got local actors and music, and we're going to do something very special. And I was thinking, this old lady who's alone, she's elderly woman, no family. Why don't we invite her? I told her, would you be willing to come? She told me, I don't leave my apartment. I live on the fifth floor. I can't go down. I was like, but she's like, I love music. And I'm thinking to myself, what can we do to help? Again, so it's another time where Hashem has given us a little sign. There's someone here that loves
Mm.
music. She can't come. She can't leave her apartment. What can we do? So suddenly a thought entered my mind. I was like, how about if we make a concert for you in your house? She's like, what do you mean?
Wow.
I said, we'll bring musicians here and we'll make a concert, a Hanukkah concert. One day we're going to have a big Hanukkah concert for everyone. And one day we're going to come here with some musicians to make you a little Hanukkah. She's like, you could do that? I said, yes. And that's what we're doing now. This year on the second day of Hanukkah, on the 26th of December, we're going to have two different Hanukkah bands that are going to go around to the homes of the elderly that cannot leave their homebound and raise their spirits. Why? Because they deserve it. They're alone. They have no family. Give them a little bit
Mm.
of warmth, of joy on Hanukkah. So we're constantly, and again, you don't live in Russia for this. Anywhere you're in the world, and you see something, you see someone needing. Not always does it require finances or money. It could just be some words, some attention, a hug, a kiss. You look and you could just move on and say, I'm too busy today, or you could say, hey, let me do something to help these people. And I feel our job is to, as many times as possible, stop and do what God expects us to do.